My name is Shun Yamashita. I'm a 17-year-old high school student. This month's looking bad too. Dad. My father owns a small-town factory. When I was younger, his work was steady, and apparently, he was able to increase his employees. But recently, his business has only continued to go down. Because of that, to be completely honest, right now, we were very poor. Look at this! This is my watch that my dad bought for me. It's a limited edition, and it was super expensive. Well, for my dad, this is nothing to him though. That's pretty amazing. This guy was Doyao Ikiri, and he was my classmate. Doyao's father was the CEO of a small, medium enterprise called Dokyun Company, and it seemed like they were doing pretty well financially too. You don't wear any wristwatches? Oh, that's right. Now that I think about it, your family is poor. My bad. I'm sure you don't have the luxury of buying watches, do you? I heard the rumors that your factory's about to collapse at any moment, isn't it? That's none of your business, Doyao. Oh, come on, don't be so cold. I'm just worried about you. Huh? Worried? Because you always said that it was your dream to take after your father's factory, didn't you? But if the factory disappears, you're not gonna be able to. And I just thought how sad that would be. Stop acting like our factory is already out of business! I'm going to take after my father's factory. That dream will never change! Ever since I was a little kid, because of my father's influence, I grew up with a lot of interest in machinery. And then, it was my dream to one day work like my father did in the factory that he preciously grew with his own hands. But just as Doyao said, if business was going to go as it was now, the factory itself was going to be gone. And that's why, as soon as I graduate from high school, I'm going to get straight to work at my dad's factory so that I could be of help to my dad's business. But that was still a little bit further in the future. As for what I could do now, it would be to earn my school fees at my part-time job and to save in any way that I can so that I could minimize our family's household expenses. Well then, time for lunch.
You're only gonna eat that small piece of bread for lunch again today?
Oh, Fukuhara. Her name was Mei Fukuhara. She was the princess daughter of the CEO of a major company, Koirabo Industries.
I always find it strange, but are you able to get full from just that small piece of bread?
That's none of your business. If I could, of course I wish I could eat until I was full. Does he not have a lunch? Now that I think about it, I remember him saying his parents got a divorce, and that he doesn't have any money. Hey, if you want, do you want to eat this? I'm already full, so... What? Really? That's so helpful! I was so hungry that I was getting dizzy. Thank you! Because my family was financially struggling, and I was having a hard time, I knew exactly how he felt. And that's exactly why I couldn't just leave him alone, knowing that he was hungry. As soon as I graduated from high school, I started working at my dad's factory. Shun, when you're done with that, then take care of the welding of those parts over there. Got it, Dad! I wanted to be useful to my dad and the other employees as fast as possible, so I did my best to learn the ropes of the job. And before I knew it, a few years had flown by. During that time, my dad was pushing himself too much, and he was often getting sick. That was when it was decided that I was going to officially inherit the company. From now on, this is the generation of you young people. I'm counting on you. I'm going to work together with everybody and somehow make this factory exciting again. I took my father's place as the head of the factory, and I put even more of myself into my job. However, business didn't change, and we were still struggling. There's no way that I'm gonna let my father's precious company collapse in my generation. And plus, if the factory were to have to close, that would mean that all of the employees would lose their jobs as well. I have to avoid that no matter what! But then one day... Who is it that you say you want me to meet? You'll find out soon. Oh, it looks like they're here. What is this? A limousine? What appeared in front of my eyes was a fully black limousine that I had only ever seen in the movies and on TV. Don't be so shocked just yet. What? This is the CEO's daughter, Miss Mei Fukuhara.
Long time no see.
Fukuhara? What are you doing here? The person who arrived was none other than my former classmate, standing with a massive bodyguard.
So this is your factory, Yamagami? It's quite old, isn't it? This is the first time I've ever seen a factory with so many years on it. All the properties that we own, we always rebuild them after a few years.
This girl, as usual, she's just up on her high horse. Did she just come here to laugh at me? Excuse me, me and Fukuhara? Married? That's right. We received this suggestion from Mr. Fukuhara himself. Of course, in the end, it's up to you to decide what to do. If you're okay with it, I don't think it's a bad situation. According to what my father said, if Fukuhara and I got married, then her father would acquire our factory, and our future ahead would be stable. Fukuhara's father is the CEO of a major company. To have them behind us would honestly be really comforting. In order for a poor, small factory like ours to survive, this might be the only way. But no matter how you think of it, this situation, Fukuhara, are you okay with this?
Of course, because this all began because it's what I wanted.
You wanted this?
And plus, my dad respects my wishes and he's gonna support me, so there are no problems on my end.
What on earth is going on here?
Because it sounds kind of fun to become the wife of a small factory.
What? Sounds fun? I see. So this rich girl was just curious how the poor live, and that's why she came to see the factory. And now she's talking about marriage like we're playing a little game. She's definitely making fun of us. Alright, if she wants to, then why don't I use this for the sake of our factory? So once the conversation wrapped up, I ended up getting married to her, and I moved into Fukuhara's family mansion with her.
From now on, we are a married couple, so I'm gonna be calling you Shun from now on, so you have to call me Mei too.
Sure, you're right.
You know, until now, from morning until night, I've been living amongst all of my hobbies. But from now on, it looks like I have to look after you too. I know, I'm gonna choose your clothes for tomorrow.
What? My clothes?
I could just ask the helpers, but you know what? I want to choose myself, so...
As she said that, Mei brought out a lot of clothes from the closet, and piece by piece, she had me try them on.
I bet you never worn such expensive clothing before, have you? Oh, this one might look good on you too. Try this one next.
What is this? Does she think of me as a little doll that she can play dress-up with? Looks like she was having a great time, but I felt like I was having to play along with a rich person's games, and I didn't feel that great about it. After I got married, my meals changed as well.
Hey Shun, for a low-income household like yours, what kind of meals do you always have at home?
What do you mean, what kind of meals?
Because normally, I've only ever had real cooking made by a proprietary in-house chef, so I couldn't picture what kind of flavors that you like.
After making me her dress-up doll, now she's trying to put me in my place with food. I mean, I was just having normal food, like miso soup or grilled fish.
I see, I understand.
And then the next day at dinner... What is this?
I'm sorry it doesn't look that great, but I looked at a recipe site and made it, so I think that it probably tastes fine, but...
This grilled fish is so burnt and black, it doesn't look edible at all. And also, this miso soup... It's so salty!
How is it? Is it good?
how do I say this? Did you try tasting it?
Tasting it? Oh, I see. I didn't know that you're supposed to taste while you cook.
Is she just looking at my reaction, amused? Or could it be that she grew up as a princess and she really doesn't know much about the world? And in this way, I was often being thrown around a lot in my private life by May, but work was steady. Thanks to the acquisition under the umbrella of Koi Rabo Industries, we no longer had any gap in our orders, and the factory was always in full operation. Sir, you haven't taken your lunch break yet, have you? Oh, Mr. Yamagami, about that. I wanted to make sure that everything was lined up in the factory first for the afternoon operation. Please, don't push yourself too much. I'm not pushing myself at all. If anything, I'm enjoying being able to work this much in order to show my appreciation to you and the previous CEO. This is where I have to step up. What appreciation? We're the ones who are always being saved by you, factory manager. As work became busier and busier, the employees also had more motivation, and every day, the factory was filled with high energy. However, at that time... Sir, are you okay? I'm sorry. I just got a little bit dizzy. You're looking quite pale. Please, take a break. The key to the factory operations, the factory manager, collapsed due to illness. I found out that he was already battling an illness, and that he was going to have to be hospitalized for a while. The factory manager being out is painful. Normally I could rearrange the schedule and the shifts of the employees, and somehow handle it. But right now, we were right in the middle of our busy season, and because we had so much work piled up, it was difficult to adjust at that time. If I push myself, I can take the factory manager's place, and at least give instructions to the other employees. But the factory manager wasn't only giving instructions to the employees, he was also doing a lot of work on site. And it's impossible for me to do all of that in addition to my job. If only there was just one more person who could help out on site to some degree with the factory work. Even though we were finally on our way up as a factory, I can't believe we're being set back at a time like this! But everybody already has their hands full with the current workload. What do I do? At this rate, we're not going to be able to meet the deadlines. And if we couldn't meet the deadlines, then of course, all of the trust in our factory would be buried in the ground. At that time...
Let me help too.
May? What are you doing here? What are you wearing?
You don't have enough hands, right?
That might be true, but even still, it's impossible for you.
It's fine. Leave it to me. I'm gonna borrow this.
Hey, wait, May! This isn't the type of work that anybody can just easily do. It's dangerous! And this is why spoiled people are a pain. It's fine that she's curious like this, but she can't just get involved like this as some kind of game. However, I doubted my own eyes. As if she was an experienced technician, May accomplished the tasks, welding the pieces one by one with ease. And there wasn't any hesitation whatsoever in her movement. What? Why?
Phew! How is it? I'm pretty good, aren't I?
Yeah, but I'm shocked. Since when have you been able to do that so well?
Because it's my hobby.
Your hobby? This is...
I've always loved machinery and building things, and so I actually studied it seriously, and I mastered the technique so that I could handle the equipment myself.
Now that you mention it, I remember you telling me you've lived your life based on your hobbies. Could it be that...
That's right. That hobby is this. I can do all kinds of other things too. If you just give me instructions on what to do, then I think it can actually be pretty helpful to you.
You're right. Especially if you have this much skill. Of course, even if we wouldn't be able to fill the shoes of the factory manager 100%, even just having May alone help out might help the situation by a lot. May, thank you. Right now, every minute, every second counts. I need your help.
Isn't that what couples do? They help each other.
Thanks to May getting involved, the other employees also raised their efforts. and the factory instantly became even more motivated. As a result, the factory was able to somehow get through that difficult pinch, and we were able to deliver all of our orders as scheduled. May, thank you. You really saved us.
I'm so glad I was able to be useful to you, Shun.
Wait a minute. I think I may have misunderstood May all this time. Ever since we were in high school, I always thought that May was looking down on me. But now that I think back, not once had May ever said anything condescending to me. Perhaps because she was raised in such a wealthy household, there were a few moments that her way of speaking bothered me. But I just misunderstood those, and May never meant any harm. But I was always irritated because my family factory wasn't going well. And because of that, maybe I was just assuming that all of May's words were negative. The next day, there was a meeting for the local business committee, and May and I attended. But then, also in attendance there, was our former classmate from high school, Do Yao. He had taken after his father's company, and was now the CEO of Dokyun Company. Ah, how nostalgic. Shun, I already heard the story. You went crying to May's company and begged them to save your little family factory, didn't you? You're such a pathetic guy. It's not like I went crying to them. Don't make excuses. But even still, May, I can't believe you'd get married to a guy like that. You have weird taste. I bet that Shun came begging to you, and you got married to him out of sympathy, didn't you? Why don't you leave this unreliable guy and be with me? Hey!
You, Do Yao?
I'm a CEO now, and you're the daughter of a major company CEO. We're a good match, don't you think?
Nope, not at all. I would refuse to ever marry you.
What?
And plus, I'm gonna be straightforward with you, but Shun didn't come crying to me whatsoever. I was the one that liked him first.
What? You liked him? Are you trying to say that you want that guy over me?
That's obvious, isn't it? Somebody like you is definitely not my type. Ever since we were students, you've always bragged about how rich you are and looked down on everybody around you, haven't you, Do Yao?
Because it's the truth!
But the fact that you have money has nothing to do with any of your hard work. It was because of your parents, isn't it? And yet you misunderstood that as your own power and got up on your high horse. There's no way that he could ever get married to somebody that embarrassing, is there? So please don't ever take such an arrogant attitude towards my husband ever again. Well then, let's go, Shun.
Yeah. I can't believe she would say that to me! What the hell? Ah! Thank you for defending me earlier.
I wasn't defending you. I was only saying the truth. I couldn't stay quiet when you were being spoken badly of like that. I've always liked you, Shun, and how you were always working so hard towards your dreams.
Like me? You like me? Always?
Yeah. Even though you were hungry, you gave your bread to your friend, didn't you?
You were watching?
I saw how kind of you that was. But because you were too kind, I was always worried that maybe you would push yourself too much. That's why I wanted to be by your side and help you. The reason why I became interested in making things and learned all about machinery and how factories work was because I wanted to get a little bit closer to you, Shun.
I had no idea you felt that way about me from before. I didn't notice at all. And this marriage, I thought that you suggested it out of interest, that the rich daughter of a wealthy family wanted to see what it was like to live as a peasant. And that's why I always thought that you were just messing around with me. And if that's how you felt, then I thought that I should use this opportunity. And that's why I agreed to the marriage. If I could rebuild the factory, then I thought that I wouldn't have to make the employees worry about their futures either. But I didn't know that you really did like me. I was the one who actually messed around with your feelings. I'm really sorry.
Not at all. I'm also sorry because I didn't think about how you felt, and I moved things along completely at my own pace. I need to fix those parts of myself.
May, even though we're already married, would it be okay if I tell you properly how I feel right now?
How do you feel right now?
I love you, May. So please, be by my side forever.
Shun, I love you too.
From that day forward, we were able to become a real married couple. For the record, as for what happened to Doyao after that... at this rate, none of the work is gonna get done! He'd taken after the CEO's seat, but his arrogant attitude was disfavored by his employees, and all of his skilled employees disappeared one by one. In an instant, his company business declined and eventually collapsed under him. With our factory, on the other hand, the factory manager also returned, and things were only getting better. I'm sorry for the trouble I caused you. I'm going to work hard and return all of that time that you gave me while I was resting. I'm just glad that you're feeling better, but please, let's work together and make sure you don't push yourself too much. And then, I was also warming up to a certain plan. I was thinking about an employee vacation with everyone from the factory. What do you think? Like maybe Okinawa? I thought it might be nice for all of us to relax on a southern beach.
That's amazing.
Well then, we need to start preparing the hotel reservations and all of the plane tickets.
But you don't need to reserve airplane tickets.
What? Why not?
Because we can just go on a private jet, right? I'll ask my dad to prepare it.
Private jet? I didn't even think about that. And this is why you're a CEO's daughter.
Of course, my seat's gonna be next to yours, Shun.
Because we grew up in completely different environments, May was always surprising me. But thanks to that, it looks like I'm gonna have a really exciting married life.
Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. And don't forget to check out our other episodes too. According to my calculations, you are about to like and subscribe to our videos. Thank you for watching. See you next time.